Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Billy. And yes, we are saying hello. So I'm going to change it a little bit there. Stuff written all over the walls. And I think you can hear me, but I keep forgetting to put the earphones in, and hopefully this makes... Great. So you can hear me now, which is even better. So thanks for everybody that's there. As you jump into the room here, be great if you could say hello, who you are, and what country you live in. Find the little flag, leave it there. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Billy Keels. And aside from being a corporate employee during the day and investing in multifamily real estate, cash flowing assets in the evening, I love to get out there and help people who are, I would say, probably a lot like me today, that they are in sales, IT, pharma, and telcos, because we, for whatever reason, tend to hang out a lot, and help them to get and have more control over some of the financial aspects of their life. And I like to do it in a way that's a little bit, well, I'd say in a way that you probably are not thinking about. So for those of you that are here, if you're interested, I've kind of written it out in an ebook. You can pick it up absolutely, kind of free. You leave your email address, and that way we stay in touch and all that stuff. But you get an ebook. Content is pretty good. Feedback's been really nice so far. So yeah, all you need to do is go to keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. Like I said, when you're jumping in, saying hello, let me know you're here. Let me know, yeah, what country you're from or what country you live in. So today I've actually been thinking about something kind of cool. Actually, we had a chance to, well, it's been a crazy day. Actually, the last couple of days, it's been absolutely insane. At the day job, I've been doing some travel. My kids have been, well, being kids, which is always fun. And the missus is always super cool and keeping things together. And so something actually happened. It's been happening in the background for quite a while. Some of the things that you all have been asking me about and some of the things you've been sharing is really, really cool and nice, and connecting with people from all over the globe, which is always kind of fun. And I'm just curious as to what you would say about this. Actually, I kind of have two questions for you, because I'm looking for some inspiration. Number one, well, I'll get to that in just a second. So I had a couple of things. Actually, I had a really interesting comment yesterday with one of my work colleagues. It's just a reflection, kind of it's made me think, because I was talking to, I actually was interviewed recently, and in one of the interviews or conversations, right, a podcast conversation, kind of going back and forth, and it was asking a question, and it made me think about one of these colleagues that I have, right? And I think this happens to a lot of us that are, either you really enjoy your 9 to 5, like I do, like I enjoy it. I genuinely like the dynamics that are there, the things that are happening, the way that we can help clients to solve problems, and the way that we build teams and connect with people and all this kind of stuff. And one of my colleagues / buddies, he made a comment and he said, it's amazing. Like, he was talking about going out and buying a house, his first big investment. And of course, I keep my mouth shut when people say that, because I have my opinions on what an investment is, things that actually put money in your pocket, not things that take money out of your pocket. And I haven't heard anybody that's told me that they purchased a home that month after month, the money that they put in, that the home put money in their pocket. I've never heard that, like month after month. Some people got lucky, they were in the right place at the right time, and many, many years later, they sold their house and they got a capital gains or whatever. But month after month, I've never, ever, ever had anyone tell me that their house puts money in their pocket. If you're the first, please let me know, give me a hands up or whatever, because I would love to know that. But anyway, I digressed a little bit there. So this buddy of mine was telling me, like, he's awesome in his job. like super, super awesome in his job. And he does that like he's one of the best project managers I've ever seen. And he made the comment like, I do this so well, and we're looking to buy a house, and I manage projects, and I'm really do this well and recognized for it. And the thing is, I don't have enough time to even manage my own life, because they were looking to buy a house, like, and he hasn't managed enough time outside of the 9-to-5 to actually figure out how he can put a plan together with him and his wife and their kids or kid to be able to actually go out and buy a house. And I thought to myself, that's kind of strange. Like, you're awesome at this during the day and still haven't figured out a way to also, I don't know what time of the day or night you would want to do it, but be able to also kind of project manage your own personal life, right? That was interesting comment. And it was interesting because he was brave enough to share it, but there are, like, I'm surrounded by people that feel that way all day, every day. I think. Well, no, I don't think so. I know it because they say something similar to that or allude to that. But anyway, so that was just a comment that kind of happened. But as a result of that, like, some of the things that I keep thinking about and some of the things that you're asking me about is, like, how can we find out more on a consistent basis of what's going on, what I'm doing, and things like that. And this is why I want your input on kind of what would you say? Like, I've been thinking about a couple of different things. Number one is to, well, if you stick around this long, you should actually know what I want to talk about, right? Number one is I am very strongly considering doing having more regular conversations, but on my platform, which is like getting out there, talking to people, podcasting. Of course, yeah, like all the early adopters went forward and one of these things, and I'm more of a, I guess, kind of a conservative guy, and things are out there. But there are a lot of things that I'd like to talk about, and there are a lot of things that we're sharing here within our community. I think we could, I'm sure we could share it with other people. Like, you live in one place and you invest in another, or you are traveling all the time, or you are building teams, or whatever the case may be. So I'm interested in knowing what you would say about listening to yours truly, having a conversations with multiple people, sometimes just giving you my own thoughts and sharing that. Number one, would that be interesting to you? So what would you say about that? Yes, no. And then if so, what would be interesting for you to hear about? Like, what would you like me to talk about? I have my ideas, of course, and there are things that I definitely want to talk about, like traveling and living in one place and actually investing where it makes sense for the person. Being here in Europe, I realized that, well, it's not unique, but it's one of the things we could definitely talk about, because I know that there are a lot of amazing opportunities that are where I was born, country I was born in, and people just need to know more and more about that. And so I'd love to talk about it, share with a lot of the things that are happening, why I love it so much, and maybe others will be excited. But I would love to know what you think. Guess what? Leave it over here or down here, depending on what device you're on. I never know about that kind of stuff until later. Let me know. What do you think? What would you say about that? I'm interested in your comments. Let me know. And if you haven't already, if you're watching and you want to help others know and connect about the ebook that I was talking about before, I'm picking up, because that also goes along a little bit with what I was talking about on the podcasting thing. Go to keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. So that's pretty much it, everybody. I want you to have a wonderful day. I'm getting ready to take off. I am going to, well, I've been reading this book. It's actually pretty cool. And believe it or not, it's about real estate investing. Yeah, believe it or not. And I'm enjoying it a lot. It's really a numbers book, helped getting my head around some higher level concepts. Some of the things that we think about, and I mean, beyond like internal rate of return and combining the cash flows and actually looking at, well, all this kind of stuff that's really cool to me, because it also helps to understand more about the way that that the money's working, and the way, if you understand how the money's working, then it helps you to have more control over what you're doing. And like I always say, you can make more money, you can have more control over your free time, and ultimately that leads to living with less stress. So what do you think? Love to know what your comments are. Thinking about that podcasting thing, what do you think? What would you say? Yes, no, too many out there already, blah, blah, blah. This would be kind of cool to hear what's going on. People maybe living in Europe and doing some things back stateside, or maybe Europe and Latin America or whatever, or Asia, or whatever the case may be. What kind of higher level? Oh, wow. Great question, Juliet. And I'm going to answer that question. Love the question, by the way. What kind of higher level is there in real estate investing? I guess I was talking about more higher level concepts that you're thinking about in real estate investing. I guess probably to make it really simple, Juliet, one of the things I love about real estate is that it's pretty simple to understand. Like, and that, and sometimes it's difficult to understand. Sometimes it's difficult to understand things like hardware, but the higher level there is in real estate investing. Hang on a second. Hopefully you can still see and hear me. Just going to check something really quickly. And I'm going to answer Juliet's question. All right, Juliet, I think you can still see me. I'm not 100% sure because it says that you should be. So anyway, I think you can hear me. So, well, okay, perfect. You can still hear me. Okay, great. It looks like my screen is stopped, so it looks like you can't see me anymore. But anyway, so the higher level concepts, what I'm talking about is more really diving in a little bit deeper, Juliet, so sometimes when we think about investing in real estate, and I'm going to just use an example, people tend to think about investing in real estate and thinking about cash flow or depreciation or tax benefits or amortization, like different ways or the different areas where you can make money in real estate. But sometimes even if you drill down, meaning like, let's say we wanted to look at just one of those four pieces, and we'll go into something like cash flow, for instance. If you know that you can make money in cash flow, or cash flow is one of the things that you want to be, one of the benefits that you want real estate to give you, you can start looking at different areas of cash flow and how you would determine that. I mean, just another example, like you can look at, if you're going to get cash flow, there are different ways to measure that. You can measure that, like the gross rent multiplier is one way to do that. You can look at cash on cash is another way to look at that. It's kind of like looking at it in terms of either time, like the gross rent multiplier, or you can look at it in terms of percentages, like the cash on cash return, and sometimes how long it will take you to get that money back. You can look at different things like internal rate of return, which is when you're getting cash flow over time, and then at a certain point you're going to resell or refinance, and that also looks at the return of time, the return of your money over time, and taking into account something called discounted cash flows. So it helps you to understand the time value of money. I feel like I'm going into a bunch of things that are probably higher level, but it's just an idea to give you, Juliet, when I talk about thinking about higher level concepts. It's just more the financial metrics around a very simple asset like real estate. So hopefully that makes sense. I feel like hopefully I didn't lose anybody. But Juliet, if that makes sense, I was just really drilling into some of the more the financial concepts around real estate. is probably a better way to say it. I sometimes geek out on that. Sorry. But I enjoy that kind of stuff because one of the reasons that I enjoy learning more about that is when I'm sitting down with somebody, I want to be able to help them understand the different ways that if they want to achieve a goal, that maybe real estate can provide them with the pathway to achieving their goal. Hopefully that makes sense. And sorry if I lost you, but you ask about the higher level concepts, but they're more higher level financial concepts, not necessarily real estate concepts, but they are related to real estate. Okay, interesting, Juliet. So, yeah, but I mean, that's some of the things, like I like drawing some of that stuff out. And I guess the more that I'm informed, then it can help to also inform you as part of the tribe, right? Because it will be interesting to know, or one of the things that as you go out and you're looking at either investing in properties or looking at either doing it on your own or investing with others, some of the questions that you want to be asking yourself is, you know, how will this affect me? Is it add extra risk? Like, you know, your cash on cash return is probably something that you've heard of. But when you start thinking about your overall internal rate of return, it means how much is your money working for you in terms of the overall percentage, and taking some of those things into account. So yeah, so I want to be informed because I want to help you to be more comfortable and feel more informed as you go out there and approach the marketplace. Hopefully that makes sense. Great question, by the way. And this is really weird. Like, it's showing on my computer, it's saying trying to reconnect. Yeah, I don't know if there's a way that I can actually show that, but anyway. So I am glad that I can answer your question. And I don't know if there are any other questions. That was a great question, by the way, higher level concept. But I don't know if it would make sense. Okay, never heard of cash on cash return only refinancing. Let me give you an example, Juliet. So if you think about your cash on cash return, it's basically saying, if you imagine that you go out and you put, you want to buy a property, and that property is, that property costs $100,000. You're going to buy the property. If you actually purchase the property, and we're going to say you're going to use debt, which means you're going to go out and take out a mortgage. If that property costs $100,000, and you actually use 20% of you use $20,000, the return that you get on the cash on cash, which is measured only in the first year, let's say that you would get, you would make $20,000 in the first year. So you would actually get 100% cash on cash return because you actually used $20,000 to get an asset that cost $100,000, and then that $100,000 asset made you $20,000 that year. So you got 100% cash on cash return. That would be awesome, by the way. It would be really, really awesome to do that. But that's just to give you an idea of what cash on cash return means. It means the amount of money that you actually used, that you took out of your pocket or your bank account, and how much was returned. That same amount, if that in that year, rather than 20,000, you received 10,000, then you would have received 50% cash on cash return because you would have had 10,000 versus the 20,000 that you put in. So hopefully that helps. Great question. I'm glad that you asked that. So, well, if you've done refinancing, so you've had experience with that, Juliet, which is awesome. So, perfect. kind of lost my shoe. That was weird. So listen, if there are no other questions, and I appreciate, Juliet, you asking questions and getting the answers for other people. And I'm sure when people are watching later, they'll be like, thanks so much, Juliet, for asking that question. Was perfect. So like I said, any questions that you have, things that you want to know, and then think about that thing I was talking about before, thinking about doing the podcast. Is that something that you think would be of interest? If so, what type of topics would be interesting? I think Juliet just hit on something here. And so one of the things, I'm going to do a video to show what cash on cash return is. So watch for that video coming up soon, Juliet, because I'd like to draw it out. I think also too, when I can draw things out, it will help. And it will make less yikes. And actually, you'll feel more comfortable. The whole goal is sharing with you is that you feel more comfortable when you're going out there and when you're looking at new opportunities. So I want you to feel comfortable so that you know which questions to ask. And also if the opportunities that are in front of you, if they make sense or are aligned with your goals, because as long as they are, then, then you should feel more comfortable in moving forward. And if they're not, then you probably won't feel more comfortable. So everybody, have a great day. This is BK. And if you haven't already, make sure you check out keeponcashflow.com/roadmap. Thanks so much. Have a great day. Hasta la próxima. Ciao.